Okay, I want to address some things that have come to my attention that I didn't know at the time or didn't think about, that I've learned recently about the clean and unclean meats. One is in Acts 10, verses 13 and 14, where it talks about where Peter is told, kill and eat, and he says, by no means, Lord, I have not eaten anything unholy or unclean. Well, this is years after Yeshua died. Why is it that he was not eating, he was still not eating unclean animals? And so one of the reasons why I would say is, you look at back in Noah's day, there was a separation. In Genesis 7:2, you look at that they had, he was told, take 7 of all the clean animals and 2 of all the unclean animals. So right there it tells you that there, even back then, before Israel ever came into being, that existed. But so we have that. But another thing is, in the story of the demon-possessed man, well, first of all, you have the where the 5,000 are fed, which is, you will find in John 6, verses 1 through 14. And you also find it in Matthew 14, verse 13 through 21, Mark 6, 31 through 42 through 44, Luke 9, 11 through 17, where he feeds the 5,000. And one of the things that was brought to my attention was, we read here in John 6, verse 12, it says, when they were filled, he said to his disciples, gather up the leftover fragments, so that nothing will be lost. So they gathered them up and filled 12 baskets of fragments and from the 5 barley loaves, which were left by those who had eaten. So there he says to them, here he performs this miracle, and yet he tells the disciples to gather up the leftovers. But yet, when you read, so he was so concerned about being able to feed people or about being able to eat that he told them to gather it up. But yet, with the demonic, the guy that was demon possessed with several demons in him, which you'll find in Mark 5, you'll find it in Matthew 8, 28 through 34, and Luke 8, 26 through 39. You'll find it in those passages as well. But we'll look at this one in Mark 5, and in verse 11, where it says, now there was a large herd of swine feeding nearby on the mountain. The demons implored him, saying, send us into the swine so that we may enter them. Jesus gave them permission, and coming out, the unclean spirits entered the swine, and the herd rushed down the steep bank into the sea. About 2,000 of them, and they were drowned in the sea. And this was on the east side of the Sea of Galilee, which at the time was not Jewish. It was not the Judeans, that it was Gentiles. So we have that. So if swine were clean, why did he let the demons go into the swine to be killed when they could have fed thousands and thousands of people. I mean, it says 2,000 swine. That could feed an awful lot of people if they were clean. But why did he let them go into the sea? So just some things to look at, that we need to realize that Peter never stopped eating clean foods. He didn't start eating pork and all that stuff after Yeshua died, and neither did the disciples. Just like you'll find in Acts about the Sabbath. They gathered on the Sabbath numerous times. So this stuff that, it was done away with, is just simply not the case.